The center of months of complaints about delays, lost deliveries, and a whole lot of headaches is now the focus of an investigation by lawmakers into the U.S. Postal Service's Indianapolis distribution center. The investigation now pinpointing why so many people checked their mailbox only to be missing their packages.
We're in the unhappy place of sort of being on the front end of this testing of this model. And it just clearly wasn't ready for prime time.
On Thursday, Congressman Jefferson Shreve told 13 News he toured the hub. Shreve told us he has toured 6 such facilities recently and spotted the issue.
My constituents, the customers of the Postal Service have experienced have been the result of an organization that's changing the model and didn't have it all figured out before they rolled out this consolidation into the massive distribution center out on Brookville Road.
Recent photos from inside the facility show a more organized warehouse. Steve Vaughn, a Postal Service union rep, verified the photos for us and says the pictures don't reveal everything.
Because a lot of stuff went behind the curtain. That's my opinion and a lot of employees' opinions, because being on the floor, we see what's happening. You don't have thousands and thousands of pieces of mail one day and none the next. Something happened.
Vaughn emphasized that while progress has been made, systemic issues like staff shortages and management challenges could resurface during high demand. He remains hopeful that it can be fixed.
You know, it's just a matter of everybody being in the same book and on the same page.
In Indianapolis, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
Well, thanks for joining us very much. I understand that you went to the USPS today. So many viewers have been so frustrated with the service. I mean, really more in the December, January, February timeframe, talking about how this was a change of moving from one facility to another. And yet the union being pretty vocal about it's more than that. And this needs some real oversight here. I'm curious, what did you see and experience in your visit today?
Yeah, let me just say that it wasn't just one facility, but parts of or all of a half dozen facilities. So I would describe Indianapolis and the regional package distribution center as being amongst the very first of what the Postal Service plans for about 60 of these sort of mega distribution centers around the country. And we're in the unhappy place of sort of being on the front end of this testing of this model. And it just clearly wasn't ready for prime time. And so what our constituents, my constituents, the customers of the Postal Service have experienced have been the result of an organization that's changing the model and didn't have it all figured out before they rolled out this consolidation into the massive distribution center out on Brookville Road.
So that's a bummer. We paid the price for it.
We're paying for it.
Yeah. And so what challenges still exist?
The Postal Service officials, including the executive plant manager, the lady that's at the top of the food chart for the 1,900 people that work out on Brookville Road. I mean, this is a big employer, was a part of this, but also 5 other people that came in from Washington, D.C. to meet with me and my team toward trying to get some answers as to how we fix this. This isn't part of an expose. This isn't a 60 Minutes deal. This is one member of Congress trying to fix a problem in his district. And I said to their team that I'm not trying to fix the Postal Service. I am trying to fix the distribution problems here in Indiana at this regional center, and we've just got to do a better job. And I appreciate that they let us in for the first time, because you can't just stop by there. And I appreciate that execs from the Postal Service came out to sit down to meet with us and to move me around that massive plant. It is 1.2 million square feet. I mean, that's bigger than Salesforce Tower. That's bigger than Castleton Square Mall. They've got all this new expensive equipment in there. It looks first class, but I'll tell you what, the systems, the process that's come together, they just weren't ready for prime time. And in my opinion, if I were trying to run that execution, I would have staged it in and had some redundancies or a backup plan as the packages started backing up and piling up. And I feel really bad, not just for our customers, my constituents, but for the nearly 2,000 people that work out there, because they didn't design it. That was done at the senior level, but they've got to live with it.
And so do the customers, unfortunately. What are the solutions that you think based on your visit today? And how long do you think until we could see improvement?
I think we are seeing some improvements from by the numbers on the numbers that were shared with me and my team. That we were at our absolute low point right around Christmas. And the numbers have begun to improve, but Indiana, our region, still trails what their service standards are around the country. And we got as low as to about 72% of their service standards. And we're up into the mid 80s. That's not acceptable. And so they believe they've largely smoothed out some of the integration on the systems. They believe that they are at the staffing level that they need and that the weather is no longer a factor. I wouldn't have thought weather would have been a factor in terms of what's going on inside this great big climate controlled facility. But they're not saying that that's what's still holding us up today. And it's not staffing. Although I do think that morale surely was impacted by this, because a lot of people haven't been happy with the post office, the postal service. And so the 1,900 odd people that are our neighbors that were working out there were taking it on the chin because of decisions made in the design and management of this rollout.
If it's not necessarily staffing as a factor, not necessarily weather, what is it?
Poor design and execution on the consolidation of what's meant to be a more efficient model that the Postal Service has to go to. And Indianapolis had one of the very first, as in the first 2 or 3 of these massive regional distribution centers that has the effect of consolidating a half dozen smaller ones. They just didn't have it figured out. They didn't have it thought through sufficiently. And so we're all paying the price. Good intentions, they were slow to respond and to give me an opportunity to get inside there and see some of what I saw. Might have been because they were hustling to get some things cleaned up. But I do appreciate that they gave us that inside look and that the team came out to meet with us and lay out where they were, show us their numbers in terms of the service levels, where we are, where we've been over the last few months, and where they need to get back to, so people in our region can reliably get their mail and their packages in the time frame that we should expect. I mean, we're all paying for it. Directly and indirectly, we're all paying for it.
Right. Especially businesses.
There's no competition for the post office. I mean, if I'm going to send a first class letter or a flat, some things I can go with FedEx or UPS, the UPS, but the mail's the mail. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's no option. And so they need to deliver.
When you talk about service levels and metrics, and that's really a key, and we want to know what that trend is. Do you look like the trend is moving in the right direction in a consistent pattern, or have we plateaued? What are these numbers? What are the numbers and the metrics that are used to gauge failure or success?
Yeah, so the Postal Service has their metrics as to the service levels that they believe are acceptable and that they're targeting, and they shared those rolling graphs with us. So I didn't audit it, I didn't prepare it, but they put it out before us, and I'm happy to share it with your station and show you where the service levels fell to at the bottom point around late December of last year and where they are today both in the US and in Indiana. But Indiana, objectively, by their own numbers, hasn't had the service levels that the Postal Service is at nationally. And it's not nationally, and in Indiana, the Postal Service is not where they aim to be and have been in prior years. So they've lost ground. They've hit the low point by the numbers that they're sharing with us. We are seeing some improvements, but they're not where they need to be. They're not where they want to be. And I feel like it's part and parcel with my responsibility to work with the colleagues from Indiana in the House and Senate to keep their toes to the fire, to hold them accountable, and to keep their energy focused on this.
When we're talking about the standards, are we talking about the quantity of packages or the amount of time or the amount of time it takes to get a package from one place to another, or how long packages remain in their facility?
We're talking about timeliness, processing of letters locally. If I'm going to drop a letter in the mailbox or at the post office in Indianapolis and I want to deliver to a 462 zip code, the service standard should be 3 days. So it's pretty straightforward metrics like that in terms of timeliness of delivery of first class letters or flats within central Indiana or beyond, as well as packages, as well as the number of untraced items, lost items. And we've particularly been challenged with that with packages. When you see some of what's moving through the postal system, though, in terms of all the return mailers, the plastic bags that in an Amazon economy that we get, and the labels that are affixed in all which ways, you can understand how some of this stuff gets gummed up in an automated processing system. Well, the Postal Service has made huge shifts to automated processing of things, but it still takes human eyes and touch to manipulate some of the packages so they're legible, machine readable, so they can get to their destination. And for a period, they didn't have enough people in the system to have that human interface to keep that going. And that's why part of it just got backed up, piled up, went into the lost mail bin and sat around for far too long.
Sounds like the union had a point.
I think the union was correct, and I think that they're looking out for the morale and protecting, the reputation of their own people, because they didn't design the system and they didn't manage the rollout and the execution. That was clearly an upper management decision.
I appreciate your offer to show us those metrics, and if you could send those to us, maybe through Hannah or something, I would love to do that and expand further. I do appreciate your time. I am on a tight deadline, so I'm going to wrap up here. I'm just wondering if there was anything that you wanted to say based on your observations that I didn't initiate with a question that you would like to share with our viewers that's pertinent, relevant, or bottom line.
Look, I mean, I'm a member of Congress, and there's a whole lot that's going on in Congress that some people agree with, some people don't. This is nonpartisan. I led on a delegation letter. Every member in Congress from Indiana, Republican and Democrat, signed on with me. This is one of those happy instances where we're all reading from the same song sheet and trying to make some improvements for Indiana. This distribution center covers most of our state. It isn't partisan. We've got a problem. We're trying to fix it. I'm leading on it, but my colleagues in the House, in the Senate, Republican, Democrat, they're with me, and we're going to keep the Postal Service toes to the fire until we get it fixed.